I'm coming in loud and clear. Might hear me on the radio. Breaker, breaker, 19. Anybody got their ears on?
Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Farms. Before we get into tonight's video, let me remind you that I do have a YouTube channel other than this one. It's called Farpoint Farms Restorations and Repairs. I hope you'll go head on over there and check out some of the content there. And remember that we also have a new website, Farpoint Farms, with an S at the end of it, .com. And that has forums, and I hope you'll join the community that's growing over there. We got a lot of cool conversations going on, radio related, ham radio related stuff, shortwave radio related stuff, just cool stuff over there. So I hope you'll join that, maybe post a comment or two of your own, start your own conversation, join the community. Let's get on to tonight's video. This is a very popular radio. You see these all the time at like ham fests and used places like that. But it's all but forgotten, even though it's out there. It's not something somebody just grabs off the shelf and goes, ooh, that's what I need. It's General Electric. They made a lot of CB radios back in the day, and for some reason they just kind of fell by the wayside. They're not as well thought of as your Cobras, your Unidens, and your realistic radios, but they still make a good radio. Now, I'm having a hard time reading it, but it says model 3-5804A. There was a B model also out there, and I've seen some variations of this. I've literally come across this same radio 5 or 6 times. Now, this isn't my original, but I own one, the same model as this, and I used it in a Jeep that I had for years, so identical in every way to this. Mechanical analog meter here, and you can see this is already powered up, and it's working pretty well. Then we have a squelch control here, and if I go all the way up on the squelch, you can see it completely cuts out all stuff there. I'll go back down there. We have volume over here. We have an automatic noise limiter on and off. So not a ton of features on this thing, not at all. But it does have our channel select and a little LED up on the top. Hopefully you guys can see me as I roll through that. Now, I don't have the original microphone. It is a 5-pin DIN type microphone. So it's not a 4-pin, it's not a screw-in. It's one of those plug-in 5-pin, very similar to the realistic brand radios that you'll see. Now, it's weird. This one came with a Connex radio microphone, but it's wired correctly. And so there you go. On the back of this unit, let me turn this thing around. We do have a place for an external speaker, and then we do have our power cord plug in here, and then a PL259. The serial number on this is 040-51795, and I don't see a date code or anything like that, although on the bottom there is a plate here, and it says General Electric, date code 4736, but again, I don't know what that is. Now, this is made in Japan, and what's cool about this, you can see these pads here. This one here was used as a base station somewhere. Clearly it was used as a base station. The cord is also like a power cord would be for maybe a lamp or something like that, but it does run up to a cigarette lighter outlet. That's why I've got this cord running up to my little 3-amp power supply. Now, it's very dim and hard to see, but there is a light for the analog meter, and it is functional. I've never seen one with a meter quite like that. It makes me wonder if this one's been replaced. Usually they were a little more basic, but it does work. And the only other special feature this had is a little modulation light when you're talking. So let's go ahead. I'll turn the volume up here, and we'll roll through the channels and see what we can find. 6 and 11 are always going, but there's a lot of skip going on today, so I imagine we'll find some conversations. Couple of faint conversations. Apparently, in just the time it took me to go dig this thing out and set it up, the skip has rolled out temporarily. But I want to show you one more thing, and that's this. This setup here is almost identical. At first, when you look at them, they're pretty much the same. The layout is certainly the same. Clearly this top one's a little rougher shape, but take a look. There's actually some pretty significant differences between these two radios. The bottom one here, which is the model 3-3804A, and this top one is the same except it's B. They look identical other than that, but let's take a closer look. You'll see that there are some differences. This one has a PA mode. So A&L is built in on this, and it's always on. It says so right here. Mic power amp dash A&L built in, where this one says 40-channel PLL system, mic power amp. So this switch then changes from modulation, from automatic noise limiter on and off on the lower one to CB/PA on the upper one. And they changed the word modulation to transmit. I'm not sure why they did that. And you can see the meters are different. More of the ones that I've seen look like that as opposed to that. But other than that, it's very similar in nature, except on the back. Now this one doesn't have the power cord. We do have the external speaker and a spot for PA. So that's kind of cool. Now this one did come with its bracket here. But as you can see, 3-5804B. And the date code on that is 5822. And that one's also made in Japan. Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. Now, this one also didn't have the original mic. This one has a realistic 5-pin mic, and it's a power mic. It's got a power. I imagine there's a battery in there, although it's probably very corroded. Catalog number on that was 21-1170 preamp mic. So I don't know how well that would work, since this apparently has some sort of preamp mic built-in circuitry. But yeah, there they go. So here are some radios that I come across all the time, this A and B variation, although I don't know that I ever really noticed until I had two of them sitting side by side on the bench that there were actual differences. I just figured, that it was just an improvement, the B model was. And I guess in a way it is. They added the PA mode to it. But yeah. Now I haven't tested the top one. It's in really rough shape, but what I was thinking is I'll probably take the best mic and the best everything, and that would be this lower one. I'll move that mounting bracket to it, and then probably pass that along to somebody who is getting into the system, getting into the hobby, I should say. Being that it's a 40-channel radio and it works on all 40 channels, it's a good little radio to have. Hope you're enjoying these old videos, or these old radio reviews. I come across these things, and anything that's less than $5, I don't care if it's a 23-channel or a 40-channel, I don't care the condition it's in, I'm going to buy that, because if I can get a $5 or less radio and end up putting that radio in the hands of somebody who's interested in maybe getting into the hobby, well then that's a good thing. I think that's worth $5. Get them into radio. Who knows where they'll end up? Maybe they'll run a radio station someday. Maybe they'll get into ham radio. Maybe they'll get into shortwave radio. Who knows? Who knows? But that's all part of the fun of the hobby, and I hope that other people out there are doing the same thing. I'm sure you guys are. Till next time, my friends, take care.